G'day everyone, Dylan from the Beta Network here. Do you know what everyone needs, especially these days? That's right, another fantastic turn-based JRPG. So get your party ready as we help you answer the question, should you play the Caligula Effect 2? Before we begin, if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell because we publish more reviews like this every single week. To kick this off, let me just say that the Caligula Effect 2 not only follows directly on from the first game, but is also a very hard name to say 3 times fast. I'm not even going to try. However, if you wish to play the first game before moving on to the Caligula Effect 2, I suggest you may want to do that before watching this review. Now, as for the rest of us, we soldier on. The Caligula Effect 2 kicks off with your character waking up next to a lady called Regret, telling you that you are now in a world called Redo and that everyone in this world has, well, regrets.
Coincidence? I think not!
Basically, everyone in this world has a storied past where they have made mistakes, and Regret is freeing them by creating a dream world. You start to investigate this new dream world and realize that Regret is seen as a goddess, with her own hench men and women called obligato musicians. You then begin to have dreams when you suddenly, and coincidentally, have an encounter on a train with a virtual doll by the name of Kai. At least, I'm guessing it's Kai, as all you're given is a Greek letter. So, let's just go with Kai for now. Kai tells you everything from some key points that occurred in the last game to how she needs to stop Regret as people in the real world are falling into comas. You are told that all of this has happened before with a place called Mobius, and that Kai broke her way in to help put an end to this fake world. You are then tasked with recruiting people to help you take on these musicians and fight your way back to reality as members of the Go Home Club, Part 2. This story, although quirky and corny in parts, is relatively fleshed out with some pretty good character progression as well. You are given little story missions with your companions to be able to learn more about them and to build your friendship. Not to mention being able to do little missions around the slightly open world to befriend other people as well. With some expert scenarios created by former Persona writer Tadashi Satomi, the story will keep you interested from beginning to end. The gameplay for the Caligula Effect 2 is relatively straightforward with a combat system that takes a little getting used to. It controls like any other JRPG by giving you dungeons to explore with a boss fight at the end of each dungeon. However, you are also given a slightly open world to walk around and interact with while making friends or recruiting allies. One part I do love about this open world is how many little side missions there are. However, you do need the correct passive skill to complete the mission, meaning a lot more time farming for XP. While it can take a little time getting used to the combat system, it's actually pretty awesome. Firstly, it works like any other turn-based JRPG, with your characters taking turns. However, it runs along a set track, meaning however long the move takes determines how much time you have to wait until it's that character's turn again. Having the combat system work this way is pretty unique, especially when you consider that you get to preview what will happen in the next few seconds. This gives you the ability to set up counters which launch your enemy into the air and allow for some good old DPS. Now, yes, when you couple this with the fact that you replenish your health and skill points every battle, I'm sure some of you are wondering, well, where is the challenge? This just sounds easy. Just hold up, stop, let me finish. There are constantly enemies that appear that are 3 times your level. And yes, that's me at level 10, taking on a level 30 bad guy. Now, although this sounds crazy, it is still doable, especially with this preview system. You can see what move they will do or which character they are going after and react in kind. Now, yes, it takes a very long time to be crowned victorious, and yes, if you become too aggressive, you find yourself quickly chopped into little pieces for a monster's lunch. But if successful, well, let's just say it's immensely satisfying watching your character level up 3 levels from only 1 fight. As for the world design, it was pretty good. Everything looked relatively nice and worked well for the story. Kai's train in particular was very well done, as it spoke to her bold and flamboyant nature. If there is anything to criticize, the render distance is a little small in some dungeons, and the quality at some points looks a little low. However, that could also be because I played this on the Switch. All in all, they aren't reinventing the wheel, but have still made a very fun and vibrant world to explore. Now, time for the music. That music. Why is it that almost all JRPGs have epic soundtracks? And from the mind of musical director Takuya Yamanaka, the Caligula Effect 2 is no exception. For this game in particular, music plays a massive part. For starters, you get your usual backing tracks in the open worlds and dungeons, which are incredible, by the way. However, when you initiate a fight in the dungeons, the instrumental suddenly has vocals. You learn that each dungeon has its own track, as that particular song belongs to that boss or musician. The best part is that once you defeat that musician, Kai then learns their song that she can then use for a special move. This just allows you to pick your favourite track to continuously listen to, and I have not come across a track I do not like. So, should you play the Caligula Effect 2? That is a resounding yes. The Caligula Effect 2 has a gripping story with quirky and funny jokes throughout. The combat system is amazing, especially with how they implement taking on tougher enemies. It looks great and the side missions are hilarious, and you will have a lot of fun exploring the dungeons and world of the Caligula Effect 2. Not to mention there is so much more content that I haven't covered. Honestly, any fan of JRPGs should give this a go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with our review? What is your opinion on the Caligula Effect 2? Did you enjoy the combat system? And if you haven't already, head over to our website, thebetanetwork.net, for more gaming news and reviews.